Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to today's video. I hope you all are doing great. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 4 new skin tints which I have tried recently, and I'm going to share my thoughts on these. I will apply them on my face. So if you guys are interested to see which are these 4 new skin tints I have in my collection, please continue watching. Let's get started with the first brand which I have right here. This is from the brand ILIA. I have 2 shades in this skin tint. This is the Super Serum Skin Tint Broad Spectrum of SPF of 40. I got 2 shades, ST1275 and ST13. After trying both of these shades, I realized that the first shade which I had got, 12.75, is actually pretty good match for me. So I really didn't have to get this one, but I do have both the shades, so I will show you both the shades on my face. Let's apply this one first on my skin, which is 12.75. As I already mentioned, this is SPF of 40. This is more like a skincare product which has sunscreen benefits and a tint to it. This has niacinamide, squalene and hyaluronic acid, so it's really good for the skin. It's supposed to give you a light coverage with a dewy finish. I definitely agree, it gives a light coverage, but it's like too glowy, too dewy. You have to set it with the powder. So squalene is plant-based in this formula. It is hydrating. Niacinamide promotes smoothing and even looking skin, and there are 2 sizes of hyaluronic acid in here which helps to soften the look of fine lines and wrinkles. Let's get started. We will apply 12.75 on my face. So this is how the bottle looks like. Really nice packaging. So I just take a very little bit. Oh, you have to shake very vigorously before you take out the product from here, so I will do that now. And then I take a little bit. Now when you take out, it looks like the shade is totally off. So this is how the shade looks like. This is 12.75. So when I saw this at first, I was like, oh my god, what is this shade? But it actually like settles on the skin. It changes color, oxidizes a bit, and I don't know, at the end it looks fine. So let me apply this on this side of my face, so you can see how off the color is. It's really liquidy, so it's like a serum kind of consistency. I think it's better if you apply it with your finger, but right now since I'm doing this video, I don't want to like get my fingers dirty, so I will apply it using a brush. I have used finger also with this and it works great. You can see the consistency, it's like super oily. This is how it stays. It doesn't really set or anything. It stays like this. It's super glowy, super dewy. So definitely, especially during the summers, you have to apply powder on top of this. I will use it as a serum sunscreen more than a foundation. So if you're looking for a skin tint, a foundation which will give you a nice coverage and it will have a more natural finish, this one is not for you. This is totally like a tinted serum. So you have to look at it as a skincare product. Definitely the coverage is quite light. It has been about 3 minutes or so. You can see it has settled down on my face and the color looks pretty good now. It doesn't have that foundation kind of feel. It doesn't set on the skin. It doesn't give a lot of coverage, but it makes your skin look very healthy. It's very hydrating and you feel good when you apply this. It's not too oily in texture, but it does look very dewy and oily on the skin, so you have to definitely set it. Very lightweight. You don't really feel like you're like wearing a lot of product, so that's a plus point. But yeah, this is how it's going to look. I will quickly apply the other shade also on the other side of my face so that you get an idea. So this is the shade ST13. This also actually is not a bad match. This is also pretty good. So ST 12.75 I think is more of a neutral one, and ST13 is more of a warmer tone. So I will drop a little bit here on my skin. You can see. So this is a much more warmer. I hope you can tell. Okay, I will apply it before it drips out too much. So this is more warmer, more peachier tone. There's like sun bursting through the window, so I'm so sorry if the lighting is a little bit off, but I will try to edit the lighting in the post edit and try to fix it. Definitely it's much more peachy, this one, and I don't think I have too much of a peach undertone in my skin. I have more of a neutral to warm, more neutral undertone. This is ST13, this is ST12.75. This is a little bit more neutral to warm. This is more warmer, peachy. I think for me both look pretty good. So this is the ILIA Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40. Love that how lightweight and skin caring it is. Don't really like how oily it looks, how dewy, like it's too much dewiness. I will have to set it with a powder. Very light coverage. Other than that, if you're looking for a serum skincare product with SPF in it and you really don't bother about coverage, this is a good one. Let's move on to the next one. Let me show you the two drugstore ones which I have next. So I have one from Maybelline, which is the 24-hour skin tint, and I also have the Revlon serum skin tint. So let's try the Maybelline one first. At the end, I will show you probably my favorite one in today's video. So let's start off with Maybelline. I have got the shade 330, which is a tad bit dark on me, but I can still make it work pretty well. This is a drugstore product, of course, so it's much more affordable. This is for around 12 to 18 US dollars here, and the previous one, I don't remember if I mentioned the price. This is for about 48 US dollars, so it's a much more expensive skin tint. So this skin tint has quite a lot of claims. This one can wear up to 24 hours. This has some vitamin C inside it, some vitamin C formula, so that's good. It's supposed to have a buildable coverage. It has a weightless feel, a natural radiant finish. It resists sweat, water and transfer up to 24 hours. And you have to shake well before you use. So let's get started. I've already used this product and I quite like it. I just have to make it work, like the shade match. Otherwise, it's quite nice. It has a nice natural finish to the skin. It's not as dewy as the previous one. So this is how the shade looks like, 330. On my hand, it will look pretty good. And I think on my face also, it looks pretty good now. Like, it's a little too warm, I think. The shade is fine. It's just a little too warm on my skin. Okay, so that's the amount I have on my skin. I'll just quickly blend it out. So like I was saying, it's a little bit like just a tad bit dark. Probably when I was in Singapore, this would have been a pretty good match for me. And in the winter here in New York, I have like lightened up a shade, I think. But it's okay, I can make it work. So this is like my Singapore skin. It blends super easily. Even the previous one, it just is so nice to blend it out. Even with your fingers, if you blend it out, it's just super effortless. And it gives a light coverage. You can see there's not a lot of coverage. It's a very skin-like natural finish. But what I like about this skin tint is that it doesn't have that kind of a oily finish. You have to wait a little bit. It will settle down even more. It has been about 2 minutes now that the foundation or the skin tint has kind of set on the face, and this is how it looks right now. I think I'm pretty happy with the set on the face. It's not looking oily. It has a radiant finish, a natural skin-like finish, which has a little bit of glow, but it's not overly dewy, overly glowy. You can see there's a little bit of like shade difference. I think that's my only concern with this. I'll have to apply concealer here, not apply any kind of bronzer, have some blush, and then this works out fine. I do apply powder on this. If you don't want to apply powder, you should be fine. You can have a light dusting of powder, but even if you don't want to apply powder, I think this should be like good to go, not like the previous one. So that I really like. It's a very lightweight feel. It doesn't feel like extremely hydrating on the skin. It's like natural, how you will feel naturally. My skin is naturally dry, so it just feels naturally how it feels. So it's not super hydrating on the skin. So this is how the Maybelline 24-hour skin tint in the shade 330 looks on me. The finish is quite nice, and just if the shade was just perfect, it would have been one of my favorites. Since the shade is not like perfect right now, maybe in the summer I will tan a bit, then it will get perfect. That's the only concern with this foundation for me. But how it looks on the skin, how the finish is, It's beautiful. The coverage is not so much, but it's like a good everyday natural finish product which you can use. By the way, the bottle here mentions that it is transfer resistant up to 24 hours. This is not completely true. If I take a tissue paper right now and dab it, there will be a little bit of transfer. So for it to be completely transfer proof, you do have to set the face with some powder. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's move on to the next one. Let's try the Revlon one next. So this is the Revlon Serum Tint, which has broad spectrum of SPF of 15. This has ginger root, vitamin C and vitamin E. So it has more ingredients than the Maybelline one. It has some vitamin E as well and ginger root extract. This one has SPF of 15, so this one has oxytocin, titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. So I have read online that oxytocin may be irritating to some people. Zinc oxide and titanium dioxide are perfectly safe to be used, and these are effective sunscreen. These are physical sunscreens, so they are in a lot of physical sunscreen based products. So this is how the packaging looks like. This one is in a tube packaging. I have got the shade 405, which I think is a pretty good match. This retails for around $18 US here. So these and the Maybelline one is in the similar range. This gives a light to medium coverage and it has a soft satin finish. That's what the claims are. So let's apply it on our skin and I will show you how it looks. So this is how the product looks like. Since this has sunscreen or zinc oxide in it, it will have this kind of a whitish white cast effect. So the consistency is more thicker, more like a BB cream, CC cream kind of a consistency. It looks a tiny bit light when I apply it first, but with powder and full face of makeup, it looks pretty okay. Much more like a BB cream, CC cream texture. So I'll blend it out. I think the coverage of this one is pretty similar to the Maybelline one. Maybe a tiny bit more coverage than the Maybelline one. Like, I don't apply the products one after the other, so sometimes I also don't notice it. But since I'm applying the products right after another for the video, I'm noticing that maybe this one has a tiny bit more coverage than the Maybelline one. I think the shade match is great for me, 405, and this also gives such a nice dewy finish. So you have to set it with powder for this to last and you not to feel too uncomfortable, too oily. By the way, the ILIA one doesn't have oxytocin, so this oxytocin is a much cheaper sunscreen ingredient, so that's why it has been used in this. This one has only zinc oxide, which is the active ingredient, and it's very safe for the skin. And yeah, the feeling is very nice, feels very hydrating. The Maybelline one was not feeling as hydrating. This one feels very hydrating, very moisturizing, and it feels lightweight also. So yeah, this one I think I like more than the Maybelline one somehow. I will set it with powder. I think the shade match is also very nice. So this one I prefer more than the Maybelline one. The Revlon Illuminance Serum Skin Tint. There is actually a name to it. It's called Illuminance Serum Skin Tint. Love this one. Let's move on to the last one, and I think that is my favorite one in the video. Okay, last but definitely not the least, I have the Fenty Beauty Eaze Drop Blur Plus Smooth Skin Tint. There is a liquid version of this one as well, which also is getting quite a lot of nice reviews. I got the stick version. I wanted to try the stick one. I have always loved stick products and they're very easy to use, so that's why. So this is how the product looks like. It's a skin tint stick, okay, and it has a nice cap on top as well, so it keeps your product nice and soft. It doesn't let it dry out quickly, okay. And this is how it looks. I have the shade 13, and this is supposed to be a light coverage skin tint, and it'll smoothen out and even out your complexion. This doesn't have any kind of skincare benefits, skincare products, not even sunscreen. It's just a tint stick. So I kind of like how like just straightforward it is. There is no like pretentiousness to this product. It's just a skin tint. It will give you a nice light coverage. It will just blur and smooth your skin. So let's try it out. I have got the shade 13, as I already mentioned. It's a very easy to use product. That's why I think I really like it. And the shade is super nice for me, shade 13. And I just can apply this much amount. Okay, this one doesn't really have too much of a glowy finish. It's more of a natural finish as well, so I think I'm really looking forward to it for the summer, where I prefer a little bit more natural, not too much of a glowy. And look how easily it blends. It's just super creamy, and the blend on this is so beautiful, like just dream. And it's a perfect skin tone match for me. Okay, do you see? This is how it looks. And let me blend out this side as well. It's super easy to blend. It's very quick. I think that's what I really like about this. I don't have to worry about touching it up with powder if I don't want to. I can't even see what is here. It's so blended well. Okay, I can layer it up. I can apply more if I want to. It's not going to look patchy, cakey or anything. It's just super easy to use. And look at the coverage. It's a nice light coverage, but it's not too light as well. Not like the ILIA one where you don't really get anything basically. There is no coverage, much coverage at all. It's very lightweight. I don't feel like I have anything on my face. I will apply a little bit of blush, and if I want, I will put a little bit of powder, just a tiny dusting, and I'll be good to go. So this is an absolute fuss-free foundation or a tint stick. Certainly gives a lot of smoothness to the skin. There's a little bit of that blurring effect, and it feels like, okay, you have done something to the skin, you have taken some effort, but still it looks natural and not that dewy, but not like completely matte either. It has more of a natural finish, and I think I have said this same thing over and over again for this tint stick. But yeah, it's so good. It retails for about $36 US, so it is not as expensive as the ILIA one as well. But you have to remember that it doesn't really have sunscreen, or it doesn't have any skin nourishing ingredients. Generally in skin tints we expect some skin nourishing ingredient, but in this one I didn't find anything on the website. So that's something to keep in mind if you are interested in skin tints. So that's how the Fenty one looks like. Now I'm going to just set this with a little bit of powder. I'll put concealer. I'll use this L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer, do a little bit of makeup finally, and be right back. So that's the video for you guys today. I really hope this video was helpful. If you liked this video, then please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're watching me for the first time, I really hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. Do let me know what are the other kind of products you want me to review. I have some lipstick videos coming soon, some of my favorite lipsticks which I'm using currently. I have a skincare video which is lined up, and I will be doing a pretty big eyeshadow declutter very soon, so stay tuned for that. So yes, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again really soon in my next video. Bye.